welcome to our Spotlight series, all the way from Turkey. I'll let you introduce yourself, but it's wonderful to have you.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello. I'm Cihan Koral. I'm based in Istanbul, Turkey. And I'm a Lewis Deep Democracy instructor for Chorizo Level 1, Level 2, just some of the courses that we instructors carry out. And happy to be with you today.
What drew you to Lewis Deep Democracy, Cihan? And in Turkey, how did you find it in Turkey?
Yeah, I was actually myself was transitioning from another career on sustainability. And I really wanted to have some frameworks to see the world, to make sense of the world. And I got introduced to several different frameworks and approaches. And once I became a student of Lewis Deep Democracy, I wanted to continue. And at the end, I wanted to be sharing this with other people. So I became an instructor. And now, just a few of us, but in the world, we have more people who are carrying out Lewis Deep Democracy in Turkish and in other languages also.
And what is it about it that you were fascinated by? Why is it that you wanted to pursue this framework? What does it offer you?
I think at first I saw a personal benefit, but I saw how it helped me in several ways that I can explain now. And also then I saw how it helps the teams or groups of people, just any groups of people. And I just wanted to be in that energy actually. I like seeing how when we become aware of anything, how we light up, how we want to use it, how we change in time. So I wanted to be in that field. So personally for me, when I was the student, um, I think it helped me a lot in terms of being able to really hear what's being said rather than who said it, how they said it, what said, which words did they use, more than hearing really what was actually the theme, the real essence of what they were saying. And also it helped me to be able to take it slow and actually hearing all different voices without needing to stop any of them, or actually being able to see other people stopping each other to say different views. But then usually without a framework like Lewis Deep Democracy, when we hear many different voices, the leader or the one who makes the decisions might get scared. So what am I going to do with all these different things? And so like our motto, wisdom in the know, in this framework, we have tools and we have ways to use that know for the benefit of the group. So that really also drew me. And I said, I found something. Let me share it. Hey guys, hey friends, you have to see also this. So that's how I got into it. And the energy field it creates, the surprise people have usually, we could actually have done it like this. Let me go on with this steps or process or activity from now on. So when I see that, it really excites me.
I've got two questions. The first question is, you mentioned the wisdom in the know. What does that mean to you? What does that signify? What is the know?
What is the norm? So in the period that I'm alive, I really don't know how it felt for other people in the previous centuries. But in this century that I'm alive, it's more like we want to rush to agree, or at least to come to a common ground, or to bargain in a way that we can all suffer in the same way. So it's with the other things, daily ways that we communicate, it's more like let's come to an agreement that we all suffer a little so that we are equal in our not having what we want. And that never spoke to me because at the end it says, let's not have anyone's way. Let's all distribute the unhappiness equally, something like that. And also, when one person or a minority has a different view, an unpopular view, or a new view that is not really accepted, currently we tend to either rush to stop them because it's a big no and that should never be heard. Or maybe not then, but later on, we find backdoor ways of stopping that voice, of stopping that idea to actually grow. So when we say the no in Lewis Deep Democracy, it is not this no. It is again a no, which means a different view, a new view that may not have the fans yet, or an unpopular view. Sometimes this happens. Sometimes someone says something and there's a drop of energy in the room, of temperature in the room. How did they say this? Because no, we never dared So that is our no, what we mean. And it could be also inside us. That's something that we are not confessing to ourselves. It can be, but it can be something between you and me, and it can be something between me and all the others. And in Lewis deep democracy, when we hear the no, we actually cherish it. Yes, at least now we have a voice that came out and that felt safe to come out, and let's give it a chance. When this happens, then the majority view might panic. No, we are the majority. That's why also we respect the majority. It's not tyranny of majority, it's not tyranny of minority. So we respect the majority because there is a reason why they are the majority, of course. They didn't come out of nowhere. So we respect the majority and we take in the minority, the unpopular, the no, the odd one out into the decision. And we have steps for that, of course. It's not that we speak it out. It's more like we have steps and processes to do that so that all together we can go somewhere else with that decision. It's not you, maybe, it's not my way, it's not a yes or no, but it's a place that the decision is more. So actually we want to make everyone, we want to leave with a wiser decision for the group and with some skills on negotiation and mediation and so on. I see also the attention is sometimes on making each participant happy at the end, or each participant feel that they didn't lose much. So for us, it's not the first step that we try to make each individual happy, but because we have a wiser decision for the group, at the end, at least participants to the decision feel content and they want to make that decision happen. We are not leaving the room saying yes and then not actually taking steps for that decision. Usually in the trainings, when I ask the question, do you make decisions in your groups or teams that everyone says yes, but when they leave the room, actually nobody follows up on the decision and then everybody raises their hand. That's where we don't actually hear the no and we have not actually made a decision together.
Whereas in the Lewis Deep Democracy trainings, what happens or what is the wish that happens after the training?
The wish, or actually the practices that we embrace, guide us through steps that how we can make decisions where everyone is involved. Minority, majority, that really doesn't matter because our aim is not to see who wins. Our aim to have a wiser decision for that group. And that group can be a small group, it can be a big group, it can be a huge group, it could be also us if we embrace our minority and majority voices. But then we follow up on the decisions. So actually, the time that we use to make that decision is actually useful. We have used that time and that's going to hold up. Whereas with the decisions, when we just see the majority and we say, okay, let's go with this decision, it may be maybe quicker, but at the end, because nobody follows up on the decision, it doesn't matter because it doesn't happen. So the time or the length of the decision even is invalid, irrelevant, let's say.
You talked in the very beginning about that when you often deliver the training, people are surprised. The word you use was surprised. Why? What is that surprise element?
I see this surprise with people on several points. Of course, in their personal awareness, for example, when we do the listening voices, it's always a surprise. It's always a surprise because some things that they have done all their life, they see how it actually cuts the minority voices or the weaker voices or the ideas that are not so sure of themselves, how they cut them with speaking in a way that they think is very nice actually. And then they're like, oh no, I have thought that this is politeness all my life. And now I see how I didn't let this person speak or my sister voice up her opinions for 10 years, those kind of things. And then they really get surprised when I keep emphasizing we have to try this out first on ourselves and in this group. We cannot keep asking the others to change without us trying out. Another thing is when we say, wonderful, there's a different idea. Let's lean into it. Let's see if it sticks. Whereas some of the groups, they want to make me happy. And they're like, yeah, we decided it's this. Let's go with this. or we decided to make it like that so you don't have to spend time. I'm like, I want to spend time. Let's just go in and lean into that. Or sometimes in some groups, some people may giggle, or some people might check their phones, some people may speak a lot, and the others feel a bit, this is not an ideal participant. And I'm like, yeah, thank you for being that person who plays with their phone or who, I don't know, giggles. So now we can see what is actually happening for all of us. So these moments where we let the truth come out, and when actually because of that, people feel a relief. Yes, actually, some part of me wants to check my phone. Some parts of me actually doesn't want to be here. I want to be here most. A small part of me wants to make a joke. Once this is allowed to surface, you feel that relief, and you even sometimes see the shoulders go down. Now we can just be ourselves, and it's okay. So they get surprised with these.
To know, because in my mind, Turkey is of a different culture. It's not South Africa to me. It's not something that I'm familiar. I've never spent extensive time there. And for us, it's quite interesting at Lewis Deep Democracy to figure out whether this methodology works in different places that are culturally different. So what's your take on that? Does it work? Does it suit? Does it fit into the environments you're working in? Has it got limitations? Please share. And honestly,
So yes, Turkey is different. Each country is different, and I think even regions in countries are different. And moreover, when we have the Lewis Deep Democracy for teachers, when we have Lewis Deep Democracy for parenting, Lewis Deep Democracy for organizations, or for social issues, they all have different texture. And different kind of people come. These different courses or focuses invite different kind of people. So does it work all every time with any group in any time, in anywhere? I'm not sure if it is linked to borders, but I can definitely say because I'm working from Far East Asia to the most western border of Europe, I think I can say it changes a bit on how fast people lean into conflict, or maybe it could differ in the sense the examples that we use. Of course, I'm trying to use examples that are relevant to people, that people know from their own culture and daily life. Also the questions that they bring. When we are in an organizational class, they might bring more questions on the leadership and how my team members, oh, my managers should know this framework also. I don't want to be this only person who knows this. But when we are working with the social issue, whereas because I work with NGOs, associations, universities a lot too, when we are in that sphere, it's more like, but this has happened 20 years ago or 10 years ago. And I cannot just forget this with one question or one decision making. So actually, I think the more baggage people have in any country, the deeper we can go. And also the trainer should be even maybe more careful on how to also close that and open that in people. But part of me says all of us have also huge depth. So even in an organizational class, things come out that you don't know would come out, that you wouldn't most likely guess that would come out. And then we go into depth of what happens in humanity and how we deal with our issues that weigh on us. Language, we sometimes work with translation and sometimes with our native languages. So I think I have seen it works, but just of course we have to consider the time for translation. I think people really respect and respond when you take time to give them contexts that they can recognize. And we place particular emphasis on sharing personal stories too, real personal stories too, so that we can see the roles, we can see the themes, the roles in the group, in our stories, the patterns that keep repeating. So we can recognize them. Just the fact that we can recognize them changes a lot, I think, in my opinion. In Turkey, from the west of Turkey to the east of Turkey, I think we use almost the same curriculum, but the reasons why we gather might be different. And then I act.
First of all, I'm fascinated. I'd love to talk a little bit about your focus and your passion as an instructor. Where do you see it operating, in what environments specifically for you? If you can give me an example, and why it helps and what it's giving for you in that environment.
Personally, as an instructor, I'm very happy when I feel an invitation from the field, not to Cihan personally, but when I feel that that group is ready and they want to go in to whatever is happening. So for Live Deep Democracy, I don't think traditional marketing methods is the method, but it's more that we come together when there's an invitation that the field wants to go in. The field may be a group in a sales company, it can be teachers on a school, it can be any other thing. But personally, I feel excited when I feel the invitation that they are ready. And there are some, of course, big, let's say, autobahns in my work, and there are some small streets. So, for example, a frequent area that I work in is with teachers at schools in education. This could be also done, we could have activities and trainings with kids also under 18. But I work with teachers so that they can see which parts they can use with the students, the people in their classes. At the same time, I think I want Lewis Deep Democracy to go into the teacher's room also, because only when the teachers model it, the kids will believe in it, of course, and they will know how to use it. So I wanted to go into the teacher's room in the breaks, also the Lewis Deep Democracy approach. Then I work with NGOs and companies where the boards are no longer actually speaking to each other. They're not in real conversations. They're on pause and they don't know what to do with this. So they're not functioning at their best anymore. So I go there also. We do trainings in startups, in small companies, on when they are trying to decide on their governance structure. So how do we manage ourselves? If we can catch them at that stage, also Lewis Deep Democracy can go into their governance structure, which is just being built up at that moment. I work with municipalities because they have these also long-standing contact dialogue with the people. So it's very good for them. It's very useful for them if they know how to listen, how to hear, and also how to accept the no and how to do with it. And how to hear the yes, of course, also. Yes, universities, schools, NGOs, associations, leadership programs, definitely. And a big part of my experience with leadership democracy is in factories with workers, with management, with white collar and blue collar also, because there the roles are also very, very much separated. So we want to be able to hear each other and make the place better for all.
Sure. What a range of people that you're reaching out to. Hey? Wow. Very diverse.
At the end, each person is a human being. So of course, the conscious, the unconscious, we are feeding from the same pool.
So in a sense, I suppose, if I were to try and take a little further what you're saying is like there are things that are in a factory worker that is the same as in that is in a teacher or a lecturer at a university that is in me, right? The same type of dynamics and issues.
I think it helps, especially if you are in the leader position and you don't know how to hear the no and the yes, and you're scared because you actually want to be a leader. Also, you're a participant. You're not in the decision making. You're a participant. You're a team member, let's say. You want to voice your opinion, but you don't know how. And you don't want to make it too loud or make it annoying. Um, and you're just a person who is in a group. So let's say this is a community, and you think things can be better. There are better decisions out there. So I think in all these versions, if you're a participant, if you're just passing by, if you're just happening to be there, or if you're the leader, it gives ways and steps and approaches and angles so you can use and also reach your wisdom as a group and as a person, as a wholesomeness in yourself.
I'm going to ask you a hard question. Oh, I think it's hard. There's probably many times in the period in which you've been teaching Lewis Deep Democracy, where at the end you felt a sense of accomplishment and pride. But can you think of a case recently? What was it that made you feel proud and why?
Hmm. Yes. But this, I would say not proud or happy, but I feel kind of a happiness when I see someone making a sentence from deep down where they haven't connected for a long time. So that gives me joy. And in a recent checkout this weekend, one of the participants said she has been through rough times recently. And she said at the checkout, I have come here to see if the world is still going on, if I can still somehow find a place in this world. And hearing all of these things, I think I can. That really touched me
Mm.
at the end of the whole time, that she found a way to make sense of everything that's happening. Of course, this has happened with the role theory, with things happening in the group. It really touched me. I wanted to see that the world is going on and if I can still be in it. And with all these I have heard, now I know there is a place for me. That was really touching. So this is on the personal level. Also in the group level, we see awarenesses on or groups putting in mechanisms of feedback. They integrated to their performance reviews. They integrated to their weekly check-ins. And I see people developing a lens, not for that moment, but for the week or for a month. For example, one could say, instead of calling me, Cihan, you were like this today, instead of that, they can develop a lens of following me, putting in all the data for a month, and they could come up to me and say, Cihan, I see that this is happening and it happened several times. What's going on? So instead of tagging and blaming, we could develop long-term lenses to see the roles in someone or in a group. So in a group level, I see that the mechanisms are integrated into their daily practices. And also in terms of dialogue, because I work on interinstitutional dialogue too. So when institutions continue with the dialogue without me, I also like it a lot. So they have internalized it. Let's say they have liked it, although they don't agree always, and they have done it without me in the next year or in the next year or in the following year. So then I'm like, yeah, we did it.
You mean they're able to carry on? It's almost like you've given them the tools and the method for them to continue themselves without being reliant on you.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
amazing. Amazing.
exactly.
Is there anything
Thank
else
you.
from your side that you would like to add or mention or put across?
Louis Deep Democracy, the name is, people are usually like, what is this? Is it a new form of political structure, or what is with the depth? So I think I want to say, yes, it is an intriguing name, and come and find out, because that's how I always say it's going to be deep. There's going to be democracy in it, but it's not a new political party system. Let's come and find out.
Thank you. And thank you for sharing so much of your time, your stories. It's lovely to hear from you.
Thank you, Belamie. See you next time.